Hello, and welcome to session 1 at the table. My name is Miss Nikki. I am from Anchored Heart Kids Yoga, and I am delighted to be here with you today. Today we are going to be talking about compassion and how compassion helps us see people, compassion helps us forgive people, and compassion helps us welcome people. And that's a big word. You can see I'm kind of wiggling around. Maybe you'd like to kind of wiggle around and find your place on the floor. You might be on a yoga mat. You might be on a deck like I am. Maybe you're on a kitchen floor or a hardwood floor or maybe a piece of carpet. If you can breathe, you can do yoga. You can do yoga anywhere. And so the big word compassion, it means to feel really deeply for someone who is hurting. And then we also talked about forgiveness, and that's deciding to let go of maybe anger for someone or a group of people who might have hurt you, and then welcoming people. So that's greeting them with a lot of pleasure and really warmly. Maybe if you've ever had a first day of a school, your teacher's been in your classroom and they've welcomed you into the classroom and they've been so kind and they've been so nice and you could tell they were so glad that you were there. Or maybe you live in a neighborhood and a new child moves in, and so you go and you welcome them to meet your group of friends. So there's a lot of different ways that we can welcome people. And at God's table, all people are welcome. So we're gonna start by wiggling in our seat. I'm sitting in what's called crisscross yoga sauce or easy pose. And then we're gonna wiggle those fingers. Yeah, maybe you'd like to shake out one hand. Maybe you'd like to shake out the other hand. Maybe you'd like to shake your hands high, maybe down low, maybe to the side like you're dabbing, maybe to the other side like you're dabbing, and then maybe, just maybe, you'd like to get your whole body involved for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Getting back into our easy pose or our crisscross yoga sauce, rubbing those hands. Maybe notice the sound. Maybe notice how your hands feel. Are they getting warm? Maybe they're getting warm. All right, we're gonna do a song called Rub Your Hands, and then we're gonna do a few breaths. And the song goes like this, and you can sing along if you would like. Rub your hands, sit up tall, take a deep breath. All right, we're gonna do that 2 more times. And when I took a breath in, I breathed through my nose. And when I took a breath out, I breathed through my mouth. Maybe you'd like to try that. All right, here we go. Rub your hands, sit up tall, take a deep breath. All right, one more time. Maybe you can make this your biggest breath of the day. All right, so when you are ready, rub your hands, sit up tall, take a deep breath. Nice and strong. Maybe you roll one shoulder back, maybe you roll the other shoulder back, and with our hands at our side, we're going to do 3 circle breaths. And a circle breath looks like this, or it's also known as a prayer breath. As you breathe in, hands touch, so your hands are going to touch over your head like this. As you breathe out, bring your hands to your heart and feel your hands press together. 2 more, just like that. As you breathe in, hands touch. As you breathe out, feel your palms press. 1 more, as you breathe in, hands touch. As you breathe out, feel your palms press. And then we're gonna wiggle those fingers, and taking your thumb to your pinky, your thumb to your ring finger, your thumb to your middle finger, and then your thumb to your pointer finger, we're gonna tap, 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 tap. Or maybe today this is more comfortable. Tap, tap, kind of like crab hands, so your thumb to your fingers. And we are going to say, I, see, and welcome, okay? Because we're talking about welcoming at the table and how God's table welcomes everyone. All right, so 2 times out loud, 2 times as a whisper, and then 2 times just in our mind. All right, wiggle. If you'd like, you can wiggle those fingers and decide if you're gonna tap, 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 or tap, 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 tap. All right. I, see, and welcome. I, see, and welcome. Now we're going to whisper. I, see, and welcome. I, see, and welcome. And then finally, we're going to say it in our mind. I'm going to count to 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Nice. One more big circle breath. Remember how that works? As you breathe in, hands touch. As you breathe out, feel your palms press together. And then maybe you'd like to shake out those hands. And we're going to do one more breath before we get into a little bit of movement. You might have heard of a yoga posture. So we're going to get into a couple of different yoga postures. But first, we're going to bring our hands together just like this. So our hands are like starfish pressed together. And we're going to do balloon breath. So maybe sometimes you feel afraid or anxious or sad, or maybe you're having just a really big emotion and you don't even know what it is. You can do balloon breath. So as you breathe in, fingers are going to touch and we're going to make a little balloon. Then as you breathe out, feel your palms press together and squish all the air out of your balloon. 3 more times. Are you ready? All right. As you breathe in, fingertips touch. As you breathe out, palms press. 2 more. As you breathe in, fingertips touch. As you breathe out, feel your palms press. 1 more. As you breathe in, fingertips touch. As you breathe out, palms press. And again, if you'd like to shake out those hands, you can. And then we're going to make our way onto our hands and our knees. And this is what's called tabletop. So we have our hands like starfish, and we're on our hands and our knees. We're going to bring our big toes to touch, and we're going to make our knees like a V. So maybe you can see how my big toes are touching, and my knees are like a V. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come down into what's known as child's pose. Maybe you're comfortable just like this, because maybe you want to look around, right? That's all right. But if you would like, and if it's comfortable, you can come all the way down and bring your forehead down to the floor. God made the earth, and this is a great place to maybe take a rest. So if you have your forehead down, you might want to try closing your eyes, or you can leave your eyes open. And we're going to just do 2 breaths here in our child's pose. So as you breathe in, feel your body lift. As you breathe out, maybe feel your hips and your legs lower a little bit closer to the floor. 1 more. As you breathe in, feel your lungs fill up with all of that good air. As you breathe out, maybe notice your hands on the floor and maybe wiggle those fingers. And on your next breath in, come all the way back up to our tabletop. All right, so this is tabletop right now. Remember, we talked about welcoming at the table. So you can just kind of feel and notice the floor, maybe notice your hands on the floor. There's room for everyone at God's table. All right, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna tuck our toes and pretend there's a string on our lower back lifting us up toward the ceiling. And I'll turn to the side so you can see me. And we're coming up into our first downward dog. All right, so I'm gonna come facing you again. My hands are like starfish. I've got my feet that are like they're on skis or railroad tracks right behind me. And maybe you'd like to bend your knees left and right, like you're wagging your tail like a dog. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So you can wag your tail for 3, 2, 1, and then come into complete stillness. Maybe you'd like to look between your 2 big toes. Maybe you could lift your toes and lower your toes. And let's do 1 big breath here in our downward dog. As you breathe in, feel your body fill up with all of that good air. As you breathe out, notice your feet and your hands on the floor. All right, so that's our downward dog. And from our downward dog, we're gonna move into plank. So in our downward dog, as you breathe in, we move forward, just like this. And then as you breathe out, you can press back into your downward dog. As you breathe in, it's like a really high push-up. We're in our plank pose. As you breathe out, back into our downward dog. And this time we're gonna come all the way down to the floor. You can follow my breath. As you breathe in, we're in our plank, and then as you breathe out, all the way down to your bellies. Are you down on your bellies now? Can you maybe point your toes and put them on the floor and give them a little tap, 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 tap? All right, we're gonna press our toes into the floor. We're gonna have our hands at our side like we've got little grasshopper wings. And as you breathe in, we're gonna lift our chin up toward the ceiling or the sky if we're outside. And as we breathe out, we're a little baby cobra coming all the way back down to the floor. 2 more, just like that. As you breathe in, lift your chin up toward the ceiling, or maybe if you're outside toward the sky. As you breathe out, little baby cobra back down to the floor. 1 more cobra. As you breathe in, lift that chin up toward the ceiling or maybe the sky. As you breathe out, 1 more cobra. And then as you breathe in, back to our tabletop. Remember, we're on our hands and our knees. Tuck your toes. As you breathe out, downward dog. All right, from our downward dog, you can walk your fingers back to your toes. Maybe you'd like to bend your knees a little bit. Maybe drop the top of your head just down towards the floor. Yeah, just notice how your feet feel on the floor. And slowly, slowly roll all the way up. Roll your shoulders back. So you're gonna roll 1 shoulder back. Maybe roll the other shoulder back. You can have your feet apart. You can have your feet together. And we're gonna do 3 breaths here to end our little yoga practice today. And it's our prayer breath, but this time we're standing. As you breathe in, hands touch. As you breathe out, feel your palms press. 2 more. As you breathe in, hands touch. As you breathe out, feel your palms press. And maybe this time you'd like to look up towards the ceiling or the sky. As you breathe in, hands touch. As you breathe out, feel your palms press. And at the end of our yoga practice, we like to say Namaste, which means the light in me sees the light in you. And I am so glad that you did yoga with me today for session 1. And I will be seeing you back next week for session 2.